going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sick Saturdays. I'm the JJ. Let's get right into this one. I think that this week is gonna be a little different. I don't think a lot of people are gonna agree with me when they watch this one, since I've seen a lot of reviews and people seem to be loving this movie. I'm not one of them. Actually, I should reword that. It's not the reviews that are saying that. Critics are giving it the old shaft, but fans, for some reason, they're loving it. It's weird. I find myself liking moments, but then overall I get this feeling of... I got a way I could show. There. This is such an unnecessary bit. God damn it. I wasted a good t-shirt on this. Overall, this is my feeling. But at the same time, I like the material, I like the characters in the movie. It was well done that way. The characters were pretty interesting. But everything just amounted to nothing. It felt like a fucking 2-hour and 10-minute music video featuring these characters. And honestly, that's a huge fucking problem. I saw like 23 on Rotten Tomatoes. Get this out of the way right now. It is not a 23. Not even remotely. What I would say, I don't know, I'd say probably like a 40. A little under half. On that note, let's start with the positive. One of the positives I can say would be the characters. I've mentioned that before. The characters themselves. Will Smith as Deadshot. A perfect leading man. I really enjoyed it. And I actually, you know, I might like his Deadshot more than the Assault on Arkham version. My only problem with Deadshot is that they really, and this is just because I know the comic, he's not as compassionate as this movie made him out to be. So if you have that trickle of, oh hey, I like this, let me go check out the source material. Why is he such a prick? There's going to be that disconnect. Just warning you now. But what they did, A+. Love Will Smith. It's good to see Will Smith give a fuck again, isn't it? It's good to see Will Smith actually having fun, smiling in a movie. If you watch the interviews, I watched like 2 to 3 hours worth of interviews for this. I love Will Smith in those interviews. It seems like he's having fun with a movie again, and they were talking sequels, so he's potentially signed on. Yeah, I thought he was great. Moving on to some of the other people I really liked, and some of them might surprise you. One of the ones that won't surprise you is Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie kills it. Fucking kills it. The only negatives that are on this character are tied to the either directing or writing. Nothing to do with the acting. All of her lines are well delivered. She's got the attitude that she needed for this role down. Everything is spot on. Line delivery is great. Believability. The only things are writing. For example, her relationship with Joker, while you could argue on one hand is more believable because you don't see a lot of the abuse, it kind of loses the whole idea of that I don't get it. Why don't... This is the idea the character's supposed to have. I don't get it. Why can't I get away? But again, Margot Robbie kills it. There's really not much to complain about as far as Harley Quinn. And it's funny that I mentioned those two because, well, A, they have a relationship in the comics for this kind of thing, which they sort of... Like, it's funny because I didn't really... Like, in the movie, I'm like, I feel like they're going this way, I feel like they're going this way, and they never quite do it. I don't know if that's because, like, they didn't want to do that. It's confusing to me. I don't really get the reasoning behind it. You could have had something really great there. But whatever, maybe in the sequel, if it gets one. Unfortunately, it's not doing as well as it needs to, so it might not. Now let's move on to some of the surprises. Diablo. I had no idea I was going to love this character as much as I did. Like, no idea. This character's awesome, and arguably has the only redemptive arc in this entire story. Like, a full-on redemptive arc. He doesn't want to use his abilities, although arguably, since this is from the perspective of bad guys, it's like him using his ability again is kind of a bad thing, and he killed people with it. That is a little confusing. The point is, he has a really nice arc, as opposed to some of the other characters who really get nothing. I'm not going to mention any names. But the whole thing with Will Smith and Diablo, their relationship, great chemistry, I really enjoyed it. Now another surprise here. Really, really big surprise. Okay, I usually despise Jai Courtney in movies since he's just a walking chin, but wow. wow, was I surprised. Boomerang was one of the most fun parts of the movie, and I left the movie theater saying if they added more comedic scenes with Boomerang, I honestly would have been happy with that. The only negative with Boomerang is he just wasn't in it enough. And I'm not saying overload the movie with comedy. Maybe give him some story, some development, add that misogyny that he has to his character, and apparently they were going to add a whole like relationship setup with him and Katana or something like that, which must be really awkward with the husband in that sword. Jai Courtney, he really had some charisma in this role. Some speed to his movement, some actual emotion to his words. Dare I say, he was actually really good in this movie. Now, we've named a few great ones. Now let's name some of the ones that don't work, or aren't enjoyable, or don't click because of many outside reasons. One of which I sort of mentioned is Killer Croc. Killer Croc, played by Advale, and I'm not going to attempt the rest of that, and I probably even mispronounced the first one, so that guy from Lost, Mr. Echo. His character is really, he's sort of just pushed to the side in this movie, and from people that I've discussed this with, they're like, well, yeah, he's a side character. No, it's not called Deadshot and Harley, Suicide Squad. It's called Suicide Squad. If you added him to the member of the team, if you included him, it was your responsibility to have something for him. Now, it's not that he doesn't show up on screen. He'll go swimming with this team to detonate a bomb, but he's not the one to detonate the bomb. It doesn't. So what? What was the point of that? He'll attack some guys, but anybody could have killed those guys. We didn't even need him here. He's the one that throws the bomb in the end, but again, anyone could have thrown the bomb in the end. There was no specific reason for him to be on the team, whereas everyone else had like actual like thought process behind it, or at least a reason, or something. Croc was just kind of, yeah, we'll do it and I'll get BET. Like, it was just, hey, Croc's a recognizable villain. He was in that Arkham series, right? Yeah, throw him in there. Slipknot. That's another one I want to mention. This will be a quick one, guys, because he's only in it for, I'd say, like 5 minutes. Poor Adam Beach. We had a, let's just skip it. I'm not even gonna make it. Let's just fucking move on. He dies. He gets his head blown. The end. Rick Flag, terrible. Joel Kinnaman is what I said Jai Courtney is. He is a walking shin, so to speak. He's literally just good looks. That's all. And I mean, he's got like nothing. He's supposed to have this relationship with Cara Delevingne, who sadly I'll be mentioning in a second. But you had this whole story of like, oh yeah, Dr. Moon and him are together, but then the Enchantress and Moon are, you know, together, so that whenever that flips, he's kind of like left out, and there's this whole dichotomy of good and evil, and it's kind of just there. There's nothing really fun about it. I don't feel stakes. Joel Kinnaman adds nothing to the character, so I don't care. Honestly, I care more about Cara Delevingne as an actor than I do about Enchantress or anything like that, so again, just kind of crumbles due to shitty foundation. So yeah, since I mentioned it and I set it up, Cara Delevingne as the Enchantress was terrible. Fucking terrible. Mostly because 3/4 of the movie she's CGI, and the main villain for no reason, well, secondary main villain. Her brother he comes back. I think his name was Incubus. I barely know because all of this had no stakes, no setup. It just kind of fell. It just kind of happened. And you could argue, oh, but that's life. Oh, but that's not interesting. You need something. If you were to... And again, there was no plan talk. There was nothing to explain what they were doing, Delevingne and Incubus. It's just really kind of... Well, what do we have for the third act? Plus, like I said, she was CGI for 3/4 of the movie, dubbed over, I think, almost the entire movie, and then you have her weird... What even is this? Is it like a seizure due to the power? Is it keeping the blue light? Because, yeah, we get the blue light, the cliche fucking blue light that we get in all superhero movies now. But that happens, and so is that keeping that open? Like, what is this? What are we doing? Explain anything. And if it's just a stylistic choice, like, I get stylistic choice. I love the posters. I love the pop art and the colorful... It all seems stylized. Even the intros at the beginning, which I loved, which I mentioned in Assault on Arkham review. But again, this just was, what even is this? It was just weird to look at. It wasn't captivating. It made no sense. It was unexplained. And I know it's a small complaint, it is, but it's just awkward, and it ruins the villain a little bit. And also the whole setup with her being the villain of Waller. Yes, I have this highly... Basically, I'm sitting on a nuke and I'm kicking it with my heels like a horse and waiting for it to fucking explode. Like, it makes no fucking sense why she picked this one out of all of them, because I have control. And it never works that way. I don't know why I was Morgan Freeman there. I have no idea. Katana. While she was actually great in the movie, and I really hope that, you know, Karen Fukunaga gets, you know, a ton of work. I really do. We need a lot more Asian actors in Hollywood. Hello, Ghost in the Shell. But I think that she's good. I hope that she gets booked a lot more. I think she was wasted in this movie. I really do. She comes on in the... Apparently, I went out to go to the bathroom, I came back in. Oh yeah, Katana debuted. What? Yeah, she just hopped on the plane. That was what was told to me. And then there's, like, a line or two of backstory with her sword, and that's all we get. Nice to have you, Katana. You know, now that I think about it, adding Katana and Croc for a sequel could have worked, since arguably at the end of this movie, Harley Quinn is rescued. She might not be in the next one. She's getting her solo movie. Slipknot's, well, dead. You know, it would have been nice to actually just have them work in other people instead of, you know, putting too much on their plate. Now I'm going to go in the middle. And in the middle, I'm going to go with Waller, because similar to Harley Quinn, Viola Davis' performance is fucking great. It is. It's a really great performance. She brought this level of gravitas to this role that I didn't think was going to be there. In the trailers, I just, like, the whole thing I loved with her, she just vigorously cuts the steak. That's her that's a metaphor for her character. She is vigorously cutting through life. I really enjoyed this. There's some scenes in this that are so surprising to me. All I'm going to say is Viola Davis capping asses. I want to see that more. The main point with that whole thing, I know I touched on it a lot there. It's like a paragraph and I have to shorten it to a sentence. So, just summary, my whole point is, she's a better villain than the villain. Use her as the villain, not the main villain. The actual heist and stuff, like the actual problem, and the Joker. Oh, going back to negative. Jared Leto. That's how the Joker didn't even pop into my head when I was thinking of good and bad characters. How fucked up is that? How fucked up is that? They took one of the most interesting, unbland villains in the world, the most unpredictable things, and just made him a predictable, boring, pimp, gangster fucking wannabe. That's the entire character. That's really it. Yeah, that laugh is awful. I don't care what anybody says. That laugh better fits the fucking Penguin. Better fits the fucking Penguin than the Joker. And if you don't believe me, look at this picture. This is the proof. Everything he does is gangster, which is Cobblepot. He should be the fucking Penguin. In fact, I think he'd make a fucking great Penguin. We wasted him on the Joker, though. You know what's sad about that, too? Is I like Jared Leto. I think he gets a bum rap, and I was watching the interviews leading up to this, like I said. He gets the idea. I mean, there's one or two interviews I saw that I'm like, yeah, someone needed to explain you missed the point on that. Like Joker being misunderstood. Yeah, he's misunderstood. As in like he's given too much leeway. But a lot of his ideals of like the whole build-up behind it, of giving cast members gifts and stuff, that was Joker. His idea of the Joker was infinitely more the Joker. And that's how I know I'm blaming the right people. Everyone else is blaming the wrong people who are saying, like, fuck Jared Leto. No, screw whoever wrote it and David Ayers. In fact, David Ayers may have wrote that. David Ayers, you screwed this one up. You're better than this. The three-act structure of this movie, the actual pacing and structure, is terrible. The first hour is like setup. It's an hour's worth of setup, maybe even an hour and 20 minutes, then a small fight scene, which is great. The action in this movie, superb, great. I don't know why I went full-blooded Italian there, just mamma mia. But the point is, it was great. I loved it. They filmed each character a specific way, and someone pointed that out to me. But they filmed each character specific ways. They really tailored each scene to each character in the action way. I loved that. All that was great. An hour and 15 to 20 minutes to get there. Not okay. Small action scene. More setup. More walking. Another setup. And it doesn't have to be an entirely action-based movie, though, again, it is kind of what the whole walking to fight. Like, you were building this up for a while. It probably should have been a much bigger fight in the end, in my opinion. But yeah, I'd say out of a 2-hour and 10-minute fucking movie, I'd say probably 20 minutes were actual action. Too much setup, not enough payoff. Too much setup, not enough payoff. You need to have a payoff tantamount to the setup. They just didn't. And it was schizophrenic in the way that it told it. Just you had Croc, who was decked out in scales, and they looked really good. They looked believable. I really enjoyed the look there. It proves that you don't need to entirely CGI things. Don't know why we did that for Incubus and half to 3/4 of Cara Delevingne. I don't get it. And not all the CGI was bad. In fact, that Enchantress setup scene, that whole Enchantress, and then she's the Enchantress. That transformation, top 5 transformations in movie. Period. I fucking loved that. That was a really fun, clever way to do it. It's a flipping of the sides, evil, dark, or, dark and light. And then it also is literally, it's so clean. It's just, boom, whoa. Killer Croc's not in the movie, so that 5 hours is kind of wasted. And, the Enchantress thing is always accompanied by that really awkward, Enchantress. That was so unnecessary. That was the, like, H-O-K-E-Y, hokey! The hokiest thing you could have fucking done. Kind of like that dance I just did. Another thing that I want to mention, the Joker, about the Joker, I'll just tacking it on. These things are just piling back into my head. There's a lot that was cut. And he's Jared Leto himself. If you thought this Joker was good, Jared Leto, the person who did the Joker, disagrees with you. He was disappointed by what they did. They filmed different scenes, they filmed a lot more. He even said there could be a movie with the Joker, with the amount that they filmed. The amount that he went through to put this role through, and then nothing. Nothing. He was in the movie for like 5 minutes, and what I saw of him was pretty bland and generic. And again, since he's pissed about that, I'm gonna blame directing. I'm gonna blame directing, I'm gonna blame editing, and I'm gonna blame writing. Well, take the writing out, because obviously he did write enough for him. I'm gonna blame editing, I'm gonna blame directing. David Ayer, you're getting the shaft this episode. You're getting the shaft. A lot of the trailer footage in this movie wasn't shown. A lot of that actually goes to the Joker and that whole thing that they didn't put. Maybe I would have liked this movie more with a VVS supercut, anybody? Director's cut? Could we get that in? For Suicide Squad? Because I think that genuinely would help. Here's the thing that I'm nervous about. I'm nervous that this isn't going to get a sequel for one reason. Here's the thing, despite all the problems, it's a fucking problem-ridden movie. I still had fun. I still enjoyed it. The characters really saved this movie from being like a 0. They really do. But now here's the thing. If they Batman vs Superman cut this and release it and re-release it in theaters, I think maybe it'll make some of its money back, because I think I heard 800 million is what it needs, and it's only at like 150 million, and it's not releasing in China because I heard China's protesting or something. This does not look good for this movie. DC's doing whatever the fuck they want. They are in all fairness, they're one of the most uncallable movie franchises right now. Here's another thing I really dislike. This movie was literally just a playlist. I said before music video. It was just a music video playlist. Hey, you remember the 2000s? Eminem Without Me. Hey, remember this? That'll add personality where, we couldn't because, this is a mess of a cut. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. In some cases, I liked hearing those songs, and they fit well, but having, like, 15 montages is so fucking overabundant, and it helps clutter your movie up, so if that was the intent, he succeeded. One more line I have to mention, because and then I'm done, but one more line I have to mention is Viola Davis, again, I mentioned before. Great. She was great in this movie, but her dialogue suffers. For example, I'm going to put them in a hole and then get rid of the hole. That was terrible. You just deflated the feeling of that. You know how you could have made that work? Just slight tweaks, and this movie could have been so much better. Slight tweaks. I'm going to put him in a hole. That's fine. You could have the other guy. That's fine. Are you suggesting that and get rid of the hole? Have that small interaction, and boom, that honestly feels more like genuine, not just like delivering rhetoric. In short, I think this movie was very forced with dialogue, pacing, setting things up. Every possible thing, the actual plot was just contrived and just They just hit points rather than actually making anything flow or feel real. The bar scene was probably one of my favorite scenes, and it had, like, it was a detour entirely, although it was the all is lost moment, so it kind of had to happen, but it was a detour from the whole mission, and it was just this downplayed moment of the group working well. Again, character interaction was the best part of this movie, and everything else is just kind of like, yeah, okay. And then the third act was just terrible. That's this movie. Again, 4 out of 10, 40 out of 100, however you want to do that. If you think you want to just go have fun in a movie, go see it. If you care about structure and the movie being good and stuff like that, it's not. You can argue it's a fun movie. You can't argue it's a well-paced, well-structured, good movie. It isn't. It isn't. And I know some people are going to argue opinion, and I can respect that you are entitled to your opinion. But if you were to submit this into like a film school, obviously because you have like $8 million and the effects are fine, they'd be like, yeah, that's impressive. But like the actual plot and stuff like that, they'd probably fail you. They really would. This was a very, again, I use the word contrived. It's the best word. Very contrived plot, fast-paced, because the studio clearly had a lot of interference. And you know what? Some of the blame, take off David Ayer and throw to the studio. Because I mentioned before, I like David Ayer's work. I think the studio is a lot to blame here, too. A lot of those notes didn't help. The reshoots didn't help. I think this movie is more of a victim of circumstance now that I think about it, more than any one particular person. Yeah, I know I said in short and then rambled for like an hour there, so that's all I really got for you this week. I'll see you next week. I think we're actually going to do one more Sick in a row, because there's another one in theaters. Sicks are hard, because like when you're doing a Sick review, it's like, I don't really know what's going to be out in local theaters. So it's like, hey, if something good's out, I'll do one of those, and if not, we'll do a Filmography Friday. You know, we'll keep the alternating route for most of the time, but I definitely want to, I think we'll be doing Sausage Party. That's the long story here. I'm rambling. That's all. I'm just going to sign off. There's not going to be like a skit or...
Oh, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to hurt you.
You already did. In here.